doing, keep on doing that.
Today, as you can see, we have a Corsa D on our hands. We have the owner behind us as well. We're going to go through this car because as a young driver's car, you're 19, you would agree that this is a good car to buy, isn't it? So we'll take you for a walkthrough because this one is got a couple of fettling mods on it, but we'll start with the outside bits because there's a couple of styling bits that have changed. This is the 1.4 turbo though that comes with these alloys are only available on the 1.4 turbo, I'm assuming, with this pack, which is the black edition. But coming up front, newer shape, because this is the 2015 shape Corsa D. We have the newer shape headlights, which I quite like because they swoop round, look really cool in the bonnet. And I like the bonnet coming down and over. Hadn't really noticed that until we actually came up to the car. Other little bits, you've got a TRC splitter at the bottom, which makes this, in my opinion, a bit more of an aggressive front end, which is what I like. That
taking me saying looks like a box what Adam.
No way. Yeah, so you had to go for that. Yeah, understandable. Blacked out badges with private number plate as well. Chrome bits around the fog lights. You know, relatively standard though at the front bar, the lip and stuff. We've got a sun strip as well with GSI logoing. I'm going to point out the GSI logoing because I love this. The idea being that this is like sort of the old school GSI look. In theory, this would be a GSI Corsa of this generation. So I like what you've done there. Very cool, styling, cute, and you know, in keeping with Vauxhall's heritage. I like that.
Sounds a bit nice to say now it's a black edition.
Yes, yeah, I like that. And if they'd done a GSI turbo from the factory, because this is obviously the 1.4 turbo, that would have been really cool if they'd actually done that. So shout out to you for putting that on there. I like that. Coming round the back, we've got some window deflectors, tinted windows from the factory. I think these are tinted windows.
They were tinted from the factory, and
then you've blacked them even more. I was going to say they're slightly darker than the actual ones that would come out of the factory. We have a nice little lip spoiler as well, which I quite like, which the 1.4 turbo comes with. And coming around the back, we've got the turbo badging. The Corsa badge has been relieved from the rear end, and we've got black badges as well. I do like the turbo badging though.
Special red.
Special red for a special Corsa. I like that. We also have a Cobra back box. It's all deleted and stuff though, so not too droney. You'll find out obviously when we drive this thing, but it's not too droney, which is again a huge plus, because going back, I actually had a Corsa as my first car, as you may or may not know, and I was 19 when I had it, and I cut most of the exhaust out and it was terrible. So this one is really good with an exhaust delete. We'll come inside, show you guys a bit of the inside as well, because if you're willing to buy one of these, this is what you're going to get for your money. I do like the steering wheel on these. Very, very nice steering wheel. Nice throw the gear knob and shifter and all that. And we have a little doubled-in stereo from the factory. This actually comes with the doubled-in stereo just there, heat controls and everything. But what we're going to do is we're going to get on the road because stage 1 maps, I suppose this is 170-ish brake horsepower. And if you're willing to get one of these, what's that actually like to drive? So we're going to jump in the car, go and see what it's like. So, let's start with the basics. What sort of fuel economy are you getting in this thing? Because as a young driver, you're going to want to know what the fuel economy is like.
On the way here, it was about 35 mpg.
35 on the motorway, not too bad. What are you talking around town?
Between 35 and about 28.
Ah, that's not too bad. So you're still high 20s in the MPG figure. I understand that some people may be like, oh, it doesn't matter, it's my first car, I'll do whatever in it. But some people may want to know that. How much are these? How much is, because we were talking, and this one especially, there isn't too many 1.4 turbos out there.
No.
There's a lot of red edition and black editions in the 1.2 and the 1 litre, I'm assuming they're doing this chassis as well. But these ones are a little bit more fruity. because this one's got a little bit of power to it. But the ones you would usually see around town, you know, people buying, would probably be the 1.2, I think.
I think they're about £8.5 if you wanted to pay cash.
Yeah.
Well, I've got this on finance. And
So, if you don't mind me asking, what's the sort of relative finance agreement that you could get one of these for?
well, I put down a £1.5 deposit on this, and I pay £142 a month for it.
That is so cheap, like incredibly cheap. And I think anybody with a full-time job would be able to achieve that. Insurance costs, we won't get into insurance costs for yourself, but what's the general figure that people would be paying for something like this? Say they were 19, what's the general figure? Are they quite expensive to insure? Do they get crashed a lot?
As far as I can see, they don't get crashed a lot because I haven't seen that many really.
That's good.
I suppose from about 900 to 1500.
Yeah, obviously
like
depending on how many things you've crashed into before you've actually got this car and where you live. But the other talking point is 1.4 turbo. This one is what, around 170 brake horsepower?
Stock 150.
150 stock.
Yeah.
That's still pretty good for a little 1.4 turbo. But had a little stage 1 remap on this. It makes a good blow off sound as well.
Ran my induction kit, which gives it that nice blow off sound.
Yeah, so we'll get a bit of that. It does come on quite well. There it is.
Yeah,
nice little sound.
And recently I've put on a Cobra back box delete.
Yeah.
It gives it a bit more.
Oh, so you've actually deleted the back box off.
Yeah.
It's not droney at all, is it? Which is quite nice. So if you've got a Corsa and you want to chop the back box off,
It doesn't give off that much of a.
no. It must have a lot more boxes still in the system, but just cutting that one out, that's it's created a little bit more exhaust note, but nothing crazy and no drone. And when I actually going back to when I was 19, I cut the back box off my Corsa C1 litre and it droned so badly, but it was okay because I was 19 and I didn't care. If I'd have done it now, I'd have been like, oh my god, I hate it so much.
And I looked up on YouTube at what it's sounding like, and that was, it's a bit ridiculous.
Is it a bit too much?
Yeah. Too much, yeah.
So just going for one box delete is probably the way to go.
You already know what happens when we link up. Let's go. Yeah, I got the juice. Yeah, I got the juice. Whip game cool, make them look like cool. Always play it cool, that's the biggest rule. Forget what they doing, keep on doing.
I'm going to put my hand up and say when I was 19 I'd probably done that.
That's what I did in my first car. Drilled
everything out and hope for the best.
Drilled a hole in it and everything.
Yeah, too right. So the other thing to point out in here, we've got an eco button.
Yes.
So that's
just the stop-start.
Stop-start.
That's all it is.
And you've got city steering, like the Abarths do. And
that
the
never
Fiat
gets
stuff.
used.
Oh, okay.
Never.
But it is there just in case you need it to like whip your steering wheel around real quick, which is good.
It is horrible. I hate it.
Is it too light?
Too
It's
light.
way too
Like,
light. You
way
can
too
actually
light.
throw the steering wheel. That's what I've
I
noticed.
can turn it with my pinky.
Can you?
If I needed to.
Yeah. That's impressive. An SOS button up here as well. Look at that.
Yeah. Someone accidentally pressed that thinking it wouldn't work.
Oh, really?
I had to quickly shut it
So
off.
stop now. But that's just in case, I suppose, isn't it? You always push that and hope that someone can pinch you up.
Yeah. No one actually came when it.
Oh, really? No one actually turned up, like press it, waiting around, nothing happened.
It's got the OnStar Wi-Fi system, but I can't get it to work.
Really? So Wi-Fi system with the head unit and everything, because the head unit that's in this one is actually factory, although it does look like an aftermarket double dim, which is quite cool. But these do come, I remember them when they came out, they came with Wi-Fi, but you're saying it's quite hard to work, or can't work out how it works.
If you buy it brand new, it's easy to use because you set it all up. Because I bought it second hand, it's
a little bit different.
You need their details, and you have to actually pay for it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So how much is that, do we know?
I think it's about £11 a month or something.
Okay.
But
Another thing to point out?
I've been told that it's stopping soon, or it has stopped.
Ah, right, okay. So a bit of an obsolete thing to
You can have it, but
have
you
on the
can't
car.
use it.
Understand.